I do have something funny. Here's the what a Bucks fan looks like throughout the year for folks that aren't Bucks fans. Week 1 and 2, we're great. We love Todd Bowles. They're killing it. Week 5 to 6 to 7. What is Todd Bowles doing? We got to get rid of this guy. I hate him. Why did we sign him to an extension? And then, okay, he's doing good. Week 13, 14. The guy never, ever gets mad. He just sits there and doesn't say anything. All right, we're in the playoffs. We're done. So it's like this. It's such a up and down of it kills
Tampa
me.
fans are very emotional. I will attest to that. That is very true. Tampa fans are very emotional, and they do call for Todd Bowles' job at least 3 to 4 times a year.
Easily. Why doesn't he get mad? Why doesn't he smile? Why doesn't I'm just like, oh man, I gotta cut my social media off. It's just...
he's definitely a steady Eddie. He doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeves like a lot of us Tampa. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Beard Zone Sports Talk. My name is David. I got Carlos with me, as always, and tonight we are continuing our way too early predictions. Is going to dive into the NFC South. I'm excited for it. I don't know if you can tell, I am a Tampa fan. So excited to go ahead and give my predictions. And of course, I will be 100% not biased at all. But we are wrapping up the NFC. Next week, we're going to start diving into the AFC. So be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, so that way you can follow on this journey. Carlos, I want to dive right into one of the more interesting teams in this division, and that is the Carolina Panthers. It was kind of an up and down season for them last year with Bryce Young and Dave Canales as the first-year head coach there. We saw him get benched, but then we saw him come back. And when he came back, he was playing actually really well. I mean, they didn't win a whole lot of games in general, but they were competitive in a lot of those late year games. And I mean, I'm talking about they were going up against teams like the Chiefs, the Eagles, Tampa. They competed with those teams very well. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do this year and how they're going to take that next step in the right direction.
Yeah, like you said, you saw Bryce, even when he got benched, I remember us talking about it, like how would he react to this? And man, it says a lot about his character and his maturity level to bounce back in a positive way where he could have went sideways very quickly and just really, but it was good to see him bounce back. I mean, he's a guy that he works hard, he does the right things, but Canales is slowly turning this guy around, man. He played very well. He just needs more weapons. I think McMillan, them drafting him, helps out, but I think they got to go out and get a free agent wide receiver that's out there still. Like, he needs a little bit more help for them to compete in. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think this guy's the second best quarterback in the NFC this year in the South, not the whole NFC.
Oh, I was like,
yeah.
Holy
I think he's going to be the second best quarterback in the South. I actually think the Panthers are going to finish second in this division. They just are building a nice team very well. Chuba Hubbard's turned into a good back. As much as they've tried to bench this guy in a way, they bring in Miles Sanders, they draft Jonathan Stewart. It's just like, hey, and then he's just like, I'll just play my way in, and he's done that. He's turned into a really solid back. They add in some defensive pieces with Trevon Moehring at safety. They bring in Bobby Brown at defensive tackle, and they already got a stud at Derek Brown will be healthy, and J.C. Horn at the other corner. So that healthiness should bring them back to be a competitive team. The only thing I think they didn't fix was their pass rush. They lost Brian Burns. They were 29th last year, and I don't see it getting any better. So I think that does hurt them. But maybe Trey Hickerson from Cincy's out there. Maybe that's somebody they look at bringing in. With him being unhappy. But they needed a little bit something there to help help out on that defensive rush.
Yeah, they did get Nick Scorton out of the draft, which I think was their band-aid for the pass rush, because as you said, they ranked 29th in sacks last year, and honestly, overall their defense wasn't that great. But they did go out, they did add those pieces that you did add. But dude, it's about getting to the quarterback in this league. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Anytime that you see these elite level teams, it's because they have one thing in common, and that's because they can get after the quarterback. Yeah. So, I mean, I know a lot of people want to focus on the offense, especially if you have a quarterback or a head coach like Dave Canales, who was an offensive coordinator with Tampa, did great things. I think he's going to do great things with Bryce Young and the development of him. I know that they went out and got McMillan. I think McMillan is actually going to be a really good wide receiver. I mean, if you look at honestly speaking, if you look at the secondary in the NFC South, outside of Atlanta, there's really not like huge threats. Like Tampa, you can pass the ball pretty easily against Tampa, as much as I hate to say that. And then New Orleans, I don't know what New Orleans is doing this year. So, but yeah, I mean, as much as you want to develop these offenses and, have explosive offenses, it has been proven time again that defense wins championships, because look at the poor Cincinnati Bengals last year, putting up like almost 40 points a game, and they still continue to lose just simply because they cannot stop a nosebleed. So it's going to be interesting to see. I do think that the Panthers are heading in the right direction. I did not like how competitive they were there towards the end of the year, especially against Tampa. Let's be honest.
I like if how you said that.
If it wasn't
like
for,
it.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it too much. And let's be honest, if it wasn't for Anthony Nelson punching that ball out against that game against Carolina, Bucks probably would have missed the playoffs. Atlanta probably would have ended up winning that division, because it was between us and Atlanta. And Carolina would have been, kind of the hot team coming into this year. So it's going to be interesting to see. I do think that they are going to be competing for second place in this division. So should be good. It should be a little bit of a more competitive division for sure moving forward. These teams are getting pretty young in the South here.
They are. I mean, I think they're going to be like a 9. I think they're a 500-ish team. So maybe like an 8-9 if they, it's not a huge swing if they're having a good season, like a 9-8. I just don't think there's enough, like you said, in the pass rush. They got to go against the Bucks and Penix. Also, the Falcons are pretty good, and just their out of conference schedule too. So it would really help them to go out and see what's in that free agency pool right now. They build a decent offensive line, but they really need some help. As much as I love Leggette's press conferences, I love it. It's a top set for me than a Jameis Winston hype speech. But Leggette's, man, those press conferences, solid. Yeah, they're solid. Like, but they need help. Like, I don't think he's that guy either. I just think he's hanging on. But like a Keenan Allen could definitely help these young receivers out. Like he knows the game inside and out, and he could definitely help Leggett and McMillan out quite a bit.
Yeah, some veteran presence there in the locker room never hurts anybody. So, we'll see what happens. I think second place, competing for second place in this division is definitely a realistic thing for the Carolina Panthers. Panthers fans, you have a lot of good things to look forward to. So excited to see how Bryce Young develops. Let's get, I was going to wait for the end because they're my team or anything, but honestly, Carlos, I'm just excited for this team. I really am. So let's get right into the 4-time back-to-back NFC South champion, led by none other than Baker Mayfield. This Tampa team, they're the team to beat in the South. Let's just be honest with you. And dare I say, I think that they're probably the third best team in the NFC this season. So, outside of the Eagles and the Lions, this Bucks team, I think that they are really rearing up to go. We got injured last year, not as bad as the Lions. Definitely did not get hit like the Lions did. But we missed some key players. Dude, Godwin, played 7 games, had almost 600 yards and 5 touchdowns or something like that. He was on pace to have an incredible season, and I was highly upset because I had him on my fantasy team. So definitely made some poor decisions after that because I came pretty desperate for another wide receiver, and I ended up giving away my best running back. So, but that's neither here nor there. When they went out, at first I wasn't happy with the Emeka Ibuka pick because I felt like that we definitely needed to, there was so many good defensive backs, and we desperately need help to stop this passing attack, especially in today's NFL. Everyone wants to pass the ball. We're good with running the ball. You want to try and run it on us? That's no problem. We can stop that, especially
because
now.
there's the thing in the middle that's unmovable.
Exactly. We got Vita Vea in the middle there. So, but Jason Light, Todd Bowles, they just got an extension. Baker Mayfield, this team, they're humming right now, man, and they are rallying together. This is something that Tampa has not seen pretty much in the history of Tampa. We've had consistent coaching, consistent quarterbacks, consistent of everything outside of offensive coordinators because they just continue to get hired as head coaches. But this team right here, I think that they're going to be 5-time NFC South champions by the end of the year. I don't see anybody topping them. Okay. And I'm super, super excited to see what this Emeka Ibuka kid does because he's a hell of a wide receiver.
No, I think it's interesting, and then us having a little bit of insight, somebody inside the Bucs organization that we know, like saying that Godwin may not be ready to go, and that's the reason for drafting Ibuka. So that kind of hurts. Is Ibuka Godwin? We've yet to see. I do think it's a young team that they have, but it's the mix of is good with Levante David, so they give you that good mix. Here's my thing with the winning the NFC 5 times in a row. It's the worst division in the NFC. You're gonna have 3 teams most likely under 500, and one team might not win 3 games this year. So it is good, but the Bucs are ahead of the class. Like they are good, really good. They're going to put some points up. My only question mark is the secondary. Is Benjamin Morrison going to be the guy that they draft? Is he going to be able to play well? They were banged up. Some guys get banged up and they stop. They can't stop being banged up. So they get Jacob Parrish as the nickel. Let's see what he does. But they got some good budding stars like Cansey's been doing very well.
Yeah.
My other thing is they get Hassan Riddick, which is good. But which one are you getting? You getting Jets, Riddick?
Or are you getting Philly?
Which one are you getting here? And I think he'll have that chip in his shoulder, but a chip can get knocked off your shoulder really quick. So,
it seems like everyone is gunning for him, right? Because he did skip out on some OTAs there, and everyone was like, "Oh, where's Hassan Riddick?" This, and it's like, okay, guys, he is a veteran, first of all, so these OTAs aren't necessarily mandatory. Now, it is good to show up, especially if you're new to the team, which he did. But I mean, he did mention like, "Hey, like I had it already pre-planned that I was going to be missing these days." Coach Bowles knows. Now, of course, that's what he says to the press.
Is he Aaron Rodgers?
We don't
know. Thing? Did Aaron Rodgers say that with the Jets?
Something. Aaron Rodgers got like married and had a whole bunch of other craziness going on that we didn't know about. So that guy just wants to stay as private as possible anymore.
They got really good pieces though. Like they have those pieces to make a run.
Yeah.
Here, so the offense looks good. Is Baker going to be able to pull the same season off he had back to back? That I like. I am a big Baker Mayfield fan. The guy plays with a ton of grit. I love it. He's that old school guy, like kind of a guy, but he can run. He can do a lot of good things. And then Evans is Evans. You can't. I don't know anybody that hates Mike Evans except Marshawn Lattimore. They're good. Bucky Irving turned it on. They got a lot of good pieces here. And I think they're an 11 to 13 win team. And it's mainly because they could literally sweep the division. The division is not good. So, and I don't even we'll get to Atlanta here soon, but they got a lot of good things going on. I do have something funny. Here's the what a Bucks fan looks like throughout the year for folks that aren't Bucks fans. Week 1 and 2, we're great. We love Todd Bowles. They're killing it. Week 5 to 6 to 7. What is Todd Bowles doing? We got to get rid of this guy. I hate him. Why did we sign him to an extension? And then, okay, he's doing good. Week 13, 14. The guy never, ever gets mad. He just sits there and doesn't say anything. All right, we're in the playoffs. We're done. So it's like this. It's such a up and down of it kills
Tampa
me.
fans are very emotional. I will attest to that. That is very true. Tampa fans are very emotional, and they do call for Todd Bowles' job at least 3 to 4 times a year.
Easily. Why doesn't he get mad? Why doesn't he smile? Why doesn't I'm just like, oh man, I gotta cut my social media off. He's
definitely a steady Eddie. He doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeves like a lot of us Tampa fans do. But I mean, really, this team, and I understand it's the NFC South, it's a weak division. I get that. We don't choose the division that we're in. We're just going to dominate wherever we are. Here's the other thing, though. So
it's been a weak division for 8 years.
Listen, I know, and half of that time we've been kings of it, so I'll take it. I will absolutely take it. The other thing, though, is that everyone has question about this with Baker Mayfield. There's always this question over Baker Mayfield's head ever since he came. Well, I mean, really, his whole career. But I've been noticing it because he's been here in Tampa now for the past. What has it been? Has it been 3 seasons now or 2?
2, because he had that stint with the Rams.
So it's been 2 years, but everyone was just like, "Oh, it was Baker Mayfield, and it was a contract extension. He's not going to play as well." Well, he did better last year than he did his first year around. Now, granted, we did get. We were one and done in the playoffs, unlike the year before where we ended up going to Detroit and losing a heartbreaker there. But I mean, the Commanders went into Detroit and beat them and went all the way to the NFC Championship game. So I don't necessarily feel too bad about losing to the Commanders. But this question, I'm wondering if this question is ever going to die down. Will this question ever stop about Baker Mayfield? Oh, well, yeah, he had a great season last year, but can he put it again together this year? Well, he has a new offensive coordinator. Is it really going to happen? I think we're getting the best Baker Mayfield his entire career. I mean, he's looking like the Oklahoma Baker Mayfield. And I mean, Tampa's his home. He's found a place. He's settled down, and he's been able to, he's definitely matured over his career. But I just want to know, will it ever stop, or will it always be a question mark?
It should not be a question mark with this guy, because to be able to survive his years in the Browns organization and come out of it with any confidence or anything, that just shows that he's got his mentality is really high. Quarterbacks go to the Browns to die. That's where your career ends. You're going to the Browns. Just retire.
That's why Sanders was doing 100, bro.
Yeah,
I can't take it anymore.
Just cut me. He was doing 100 out of Cleveland. That's when they left out. He was doing 101 out of Cleveland, heading east or west or somewhere. He was like, "I'm just out of here. You can cut me now. I'll play 1 year of Canadian football." Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't. I mean, the guy, he played hard in Cleveland. It's Cleveland, unfortunately, Cleveland fans. And it's just, I think he's going to have another good year. I'm a Baker fan. He shows up to play. He's about his teammates. I think I've never heard anything bad, especially us being local, that Baker's, not leading that locker room. So I feel like he repeats it. I think the Bucks have a good year. They got to be able to make this playoff push.
And the way that he's handled this transition, it's not like he got the Bucks after Jameis Winston or after Mike Glennon. he got Tampa after Tom Brady. After Tom Brady came and completely changed, had the super team built in Tampa. I mean, at one point in Tampa, we had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Leonard Fournette, Tom Brady. That was our offense.
Yeah.
It's stupid, right? And then on the defensive side, Jason Pierre-Paul, Namakinsu, Vita Vea. You know what I mean? So we just had so many. Devin White when he was actually good. So it was like, and the transition was seamless. I mean, just absolutely seamless. And the way that because now some of these guys, some of those veterans have had contract extensions. So they've bought into what Baker is trying to do here. I love Baker Mayfield. I'm glad that he has found a home here in Tampa. I'm glad with that. I'm very happy with Jason Light. His draft resume speaks for itself. Todd Bowles, I'll hate him in week 5, but right now I like him. I'm happy that he got an extension. But I think this team is the team to beat. Until someone dethrones them, they are going to be the team, and I will say it again. I think they're going to be the 3rd best team in the NFC this year, if not 2nd.
That's bold, man. You got the Eagles, the Commanders, the Lions, the Rams. That's bold, but
it is bold.
Nobody wants to go into the season and go, man, I think our team's around 8th best. So
yeah,
but no,
all right, Dallas. Yeah. We'll compete. Don't worry about it.
I will say with Jason Light, he does. It could have been very easily just like, hey, let's see if Godwin comes back. Let's have some faith and let's really attack the defense. But for them to have the foresight and just go, you know what, we know what the strongest part of our team is, and it was at its best with Godwin. So let's bring in Ibuka, and we don't need the defense to be great. It just needs to bend, not break. So,
yeah.
I think they're at that point where that defense is probably going to give up low 20s a game, but that the hope is the offense scores in the low 30s. So, I mean, which is not a bad thing on there.
No.
It's just at some point you'll run into an elite defense deep in the playoffs or an elite offense. So we'll see how that works out for the Bucs. But it can be done. I think they've done a good job with their playing. And if Hassan Riddick plays like he did in Philly, man, that guy coming off the edge is going to be
he's going to be nasty.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing though and you know what? Hey, look. All right, we're gonna hang on Tampa here for just a little bit. If you don't like it, there's a little chapter menu down there so you can skip to your team. But Jason Light, it's so easy to like jump to conclusion with some of the draft picks because we saw it, right? Why did you get Ibuka? You had who was it? Will Johnson.
Will Johnson.
Like Will Johnson was still
yeah.
there, right? He fell all the way to the 2nd round and got picked up by the Cardinals. But he's definitely trusting. Like Chris Braswell, is he going to develop? Because he didn't do anything last year, right? We got him last year. Yaya Diaby, he's shown sparks of greatness, but he's not been consistent. Kalijah Cansey now has been very consistent when he's out there. So that is the one young bright spot on that defensive line. But it's like, okay, now we got Hassan Riddick. So Jason went all in on this Ibuka pick and just said, hey, I'm going to trust the guys that I have here. And, ended up doing that. Benjamin Morrison. I think Benjamin Morrison is going to eventually be DB number 1 in Tampa. I don't know if Jamel Dean stays after this year. I think it's his contract year. I don't know if he's going to stay. I don't know if he should stay. He's been good at some points, but then other times he hasn't been good. So, but he was a part of that 2020 Super Bowl run. So we shall see. But until they're dethroned, Tampa Bay, rise up. We're number 1, 5 years in a row. Let's go. And
fire the cannons now.
Fire the cannons right now.
In the books.
Hey, let us know if you're going to be at any Tampa games. We'll probably be there, so we'd love to see fans. Let's move on to Atlanta Falcon. Or no, we're going to save the Falcons for last. Let's move on to the poverty franchise of the entire NFL, the scums of the earth, New Orleans Saints. All right. I freaking can't stand this team. I'm so happy that they are getting everything that they deserve. So this team is going to be poverty franchise. They are the Cleveland Browns of the NFC, and it makes me nothing but happy. Now, they did go out and they got Kellen Moore, offensive guy. We'll see how he does with this team. I have a stat that I had to like triple check. All right, enough of all the bad mouthing. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I feel better now. If you're a Tampa fan, you understand what I'm saying. Not one wide receiver played more than 10 games last year, except, are you ready? For Cedric Wilson Jr. and Mason Tipton. Those are the only two wide receivers in New Orleans that had more than 10 games underneath their belts last year. Jawan Johnson was the leader for the New Orleans Saints last year in receiving with 546, 548 yards, something like that. No other wide receiver had more than 10 games. They barely made it past 7 games, really, from what I'm seeing. They had a flip-flop between Derek Carr and Spencer Rattler. Alvin Kamara, actually, looking at it, that he didn't have a bad year.
No,
he averaged over 4
year.
yards a carry. He had about 6 touchdowns. So, I mean, he's still a bright spot in there. But their defense is getting pretty old. And honestly, that defense was absolutely brutal. They were 20th in sacks, and their passing game was, I mean, just an absolute nightmare. Now you have Kellen Moore. And then you got the rookie, Tyler, how do you pronounce his last name? Sean?
Yeah, so from Louisville.
Yeah. So, but you have him, who is listed as the starter right now on their depth chart.
I mean,
and not Spencer Rattler.
I think he's older than Spencer Rattler. But this team is really a hot mess. I actually think they just need to take a year off in a sense of clean up all these bad contracts.
Yeah,
they've been in salary cap hell for I don't know how, like 3 or 4 years now. Like they start the year out 50 in the hole, like, and the restructure after restructure, and then it's weird. That team started out hot. We were like, oh,
they did.
Whoa, look at here, and then man, game 3 came around, and that was it. But they lose Derek Carr, to injury he's retired. They got Rattler, who was all right. So's gonna be. We don't know, man. He's I thought he was okay at Louisville. I didn't think he's worthy of. I don't picture him starting, but Tom Brady was not an early round pick either. So, but they got everything. Like you said, there's any stars they have left are aging out. They haven't drafted well at all. They've missed a lot more than they've actually hit. And I mean, for them, they just really just need these contracts to go away. Any dead money, and
they do.
And unfortunately, as a fan base of any team, you don't want to ever hear like we kind of almost have to tank this thing. Like they're looking at a season that I think 4 wins is good for them this year. I don't foresee more than 4. I think they're like I don't even want to say 2. 2 seems like it's mind-boggling to me that a team could win 2 games in the NFL. But I think they're a 3-4 win team, and that is it. Like they don't have even Kamara. He's had a good year, but there's not enough there to make him any better. Like you got 2 essentially rookie quarterbacks. Kellen Moore, he's a good offensive mind. Your whatever you have on defense that is good is old now, and it's just. But Kamara might be a good trade piece. Hopefully for them, the hope I would think would be he starts out well and you can trade him and at least get a pick back for him. But you dump that salary, so they've got to just they got to hit the reset button. The problem is, in order to do that in the NFL, you gotta tank it, man, and that's not what any fan base wants to hear.
You do. They really do need to clean up their salary, though. Like, you're right. I think it has been 3 or 4 years in a row where you go, right? Every NFL fan does it. They go and they see how much money their team has to spend in free agency, and then they go and see who's going to be available. and always there at the bottom holding the rest of the NFL up is the New Orleans
No,
Saints
and I
at
mean,
like negative $60 million.
it's
And
something
you're like,
crazy every year.
what is happening right now? How
And
do
it-
we continue to do this?
And Derek Carr did him a favor. It is a class act that he's like, hey, we can just void the contract. Like,
could you imagine if they would have had to pay him?
Yeah.
They would have been even more screwed.
Yeah. Like
More screwed, man. Like it's an absolute mess. Now I am curious to see what Kellen Moore does with this offense. Here's my question to you. They're not going to be a good team this year, right? So they're going to have a top pick. Is this the making of a Manning coming back to New Orleans?
I don't like the college quarterback draft this year. I'm not sold on Archie Manning. What has Archie Manning done in college besides get benched behind Ewers at Texas? So we'll see what he does. He hasn't done anything in college, literally nothing. I don't, it's just, and this isn't going to be a strong quarterback draft next year. I don't think so. So,
and I personally, let me just say something. I don't want to take away anything that Kellen Moore has done because he was great with the Dallas Cowboys, and then he was also great with the Philadelphia Eagles last year. But look at the offenses that he had with those two successful teams. And then let's not forget about the 1 year stint that he had in the Los Angeles with the Chargers, and he was supposed to be the savior of Justin Herbert, and it did not work out at all. And it's because he didn't have like a ton of weapons. Right,
yeah.
with the Dallas Cowboys, he had a ton of weapons. He had a lot of variety. With the Philadelphia Eagles, ton of weapons, a lot of variety. With the Chargers, it was really just Justin Herbert. Like, that was it. And he wasn't able to do anything. So with this offense, what is he going to be able to do? Now, hopefully, if the Saints are patient enough with him, maybe they'll, allow him to build an offense that he wants to build, right? With the quarterback that he wants to draft, and maybe this Tyler guy is it. Who knows?
I mean, he can throw the ball.
He can. I mean, it will go somewhere. That's for sure. We saw that in the draft, in the combine.
It was one. That was a bad throw, though.
But I mean, it's just like this team. You're definitely in a rebuilding phase. Like, you have to clear this. You have to fix your budget book. You have to clean up all this cap space that is getting eaten up by. Honestly, I'm really curious to know who it's getting eaten up by. It's crazy.
They've got Cam Jordan, like their next year cap. They actually have some money this year, and it's from the Derek Carr contract. But next year for the Saints is good. They're only 26 in the hole. Or wait, I don't think it's that much. It may be more around 20. But it's some of these aging stars. They're playing Jawan Johnson $13 million a year next year. I don't know what he's making this year.
Man, he was their lead receiver.
Let me tell you something. 500 yards, forget it. You could go out and pick up somebody else that I feel is better. He's not worth $13 million a year. That's ridiculous.
No, that's a lot.
Taysom Hill is getting paid $9 to $10 million a year. He's not worth it. He did that fad ended already. And they've got like DeMarco Davis, Cam Hayward. Like, these guys are in the 20 millions, man. But they're old. Like, they're just not the players they used to be. But they got big contracts to come there, thinking like, oh, maybe we get 2 good 3 years out of them, and then we'll worry about the 4th and 5th year later. And they were surprised they got 1 good year out of them. And
they were one of the first teams to start kicking the can down the line, and unfortunately, I don't think they ever stopped kicking the can. Like, Tampa did it there for a while, right? Like, we did it there for the 2020 Super Bowl run. We had to in order to create space. But we were able to clean it up after a few years. New Orleans was just like, let's keep it going. Like, we'll pay. They're like that one friend who you never want to lend money to. I'll get you next time. I'll get you next week. It's like, holy crap, man. But yeah, hopefully they can clean it up. But it is going to be an uphill battle for the New Orleans Saints fans. Yes, yeah, screw you guys. So, but but anyway, let's move on to the last team here in the NFC South. I mean, I don't even know what to say about this team. So last year they paid Kirk Cousins like $180 million. They ended up drafting Michael Penix, 8th overall.
He's the best backup in the league. You got to pay them.
Yeah, seriously. I would love to be Kirk Cousins, making his money being the backup for an NFL team. Yeah, that'd be great. But they got Michael Penix, 8 overall. They passed on Dallas Turner. In hindsight, that might have looked like a better pick now. Michael Penix is the guy to go. I mean, they had super young, productive guys on their offense. Drake London, Bijan Robinson. Hell, even Darnell Mooney kind of came out of nowhere last year and was just kind of like, oh, all right.
And there was a Kyle Pitts sighting.
So, right. That is very true. So, I'm not a big believer in Raheem Morris, probably just because of what he did here in Tampa. So I'm going to continue to just kind of wait and see what happens. But Michael Penix is leading this Atlanta Falcons team. I will say this: they definitely went out and they addressed their biggest weakness last year, which was the pass rush, and they got the pass rush in the first round with Jalen Walker and James Pierce. Insane. So we should see an uptick in production for a pass rush with Atlanta. But how do you feel about the old Falcons here this year?
I think they're a solid team. They got a good offensive line. They got playmakers, like you said. They got Drake London, Bijan. I mean, even Kyle Pitts. But I think they're actually kind of shopping that guy around a little bit. But he did some good things last year that he hasn't done in past years, and they. So offensively, they're not in bad shape. I think Penix, he did okay. Nothing flashy to me. I think there's still a question mark on him. He just did okay. So, but Kirk Cousins he was going down in flames, and they really didn't have a choice. But the good thing is, defensively, they're pretty good. I mean, they've got a secondary that with AJ Terrell, they get Jesse Bates. I think they got the better of the two Notre Dame guys. They get Xavier Watts, who was an interception machine at Notre Dame. It's still I think the big question for me is Michael Penix. Like, there was nothing special about him, and he just played okay. And I think that's why their season was just, it was okay. So Let's see if he makes that step forward. He's taking all the first team reps. He should be QB1. And the good thing is he's got Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is not going to be a guy that's going to be like, hey, F you, you're on your own. He's not. He's a team guy. He's going to be coaching this kid, and I think
he did shop the market.
I mean, he should. I mean, he is a starter.
For sure.
He's a starter. I with his injury, probably came back when he shouldn't. But he's a gamer. I mean, in Minnesota, he played well, and he played well at Washington. So it's Penix. He doesn't look like a franchise quarterback to me, and I don't know if he's going to be that guy. So that's going to be a question mark with them. Like, he really just played okay when he came in. It wasn't nothing special, and I think he's got to make a big step for them. If they're going to compete and try to win this division, there has to be a huge step for Michael Penix for them.
Yes. Well, it's always going to come down to quarterback play. It's always going to come down to the quarterback.
But he's going to need like a Bryce Young. Hey, I got benched, and then boom. Like, Bryce came back from that benching he was good.
He did.
Yeah, and you were like you brought up with them with their pass rush. I like the back end of the defense it's good.
Yeah.
My only concern, and I like Walker. Walker's an athletic guy. He was so athletic in college, he could get away with stuff. I don't know if he's that much more athletic than if he's got Tristan Wirfs. That athleticism gap just went real quick. So is he going to be that guy like he was at Georgia? He's not a true edge guy. He's this weird off the ball linebacker hybrid that can rush the passer. So there'll be times they just going to have to line him up right. And
No, but
now,
here is the thing, though. Both James Pierce and Jalen Walker are from the SEC, which, if you look at the competition in the college, SEC is the closest to the NFL, right? So at
so is
least
Javon Clowney's from the SEC too, and he was okay.
he had a pretty decent career though there at the beginning. He did
Yeah.
have J.J. Watt on the other end.
Yeah. He did have a Hall
But-
of Famer on the. It's just Walker's not he's not your traditional edge guy. Like when Mikael Williams went to San Francisco in the draft, he's your traditional edge guy. He's just I rush the passer. Now Walker gives him some flexibility because he can drop back in the pass and he knows how to play that. So I think it's good. The other question from things that I've read is now with James Pierce. Pierce is the most productive edge rusher in the SEC. I thought it was a good pick. I don't know if I trade up for it that much. Now there's issues. Is he got character issues? And that's always when somebody mentions character, man, that's not good because now there's through the draft process, things are coming out that he has a character issue. He's not as coachable as they may have thought, and there's been some things about his work ethic. If those are true, that's a big issue. Like, is he gonna stop? Hey, I made it to the NFL. I got paid in college. Now, I'm they're sitting pretty good. So let's see what happens with Pierce. But if those two guys hit and they do what they do, that defense gets really good fast. So it puts
defense does get really good because their secondary is solid. Their secondary is a great secondary. Their biggest weakness was getting to the quarterback. And we just said it earlier, if you're going to make that next step, if you're going to be a team that can compete and compete deep into the playoffs and potentially get yourself into a Super Bowl, you're going to need two things. One, obviously you're going to need more than two things, but you're going to need a franchise quarterback, which is Michael Penix that we don't know. We don't know. You can't say a guy is your franchise after 1 year.
Yeah, but you take a guy number 9. You're betting this guy's the franchise. You don't draft top 10 quarterback. So he just didn't look like it to me. But he's a rookie. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Look at Sam Darnold.
It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
I haven't completely written off Caleb Williams yet. Completely.
There was a really good thing in camp. He's looking good.
Yeah. No pass rush. That's great. But and then
everybody looks good in OTAs.
Yeah, everyone looks good in OTAs. Hell, Kyle Trask looked good in OTAs. So, but the other thing that you're going to need is what we said earlier. You're going to need a pass rush. If you can't get to the opposing team quarterback, if you can't fluster him, if you can't put that pressure on him, you're not going to win games. You're not going to win meaningful games, right? So they went out, they got a quarterback last year. They went out and they got, edge guys this year. They have the right mindset, right? Is it going to come together? I don't know. It's Raheem Morris. I'm still not.
It's a big question mark too for them. Is he a head coach? Some guys just need to stay a defensive coordinator. That's your thing. When you're the head coach, it's a totally different ball game. And he might be better served just as a DC only. But I mean, they have the really good pieces into play. So for me, I have them kind of right there with the Panthers, oddly, like a 9-8 team. But if Penix plays well and he makes the step, we could be looking at a 10-11 team win squad here. So.
Absolutely, and that's where I had them. Panthers and Falcons are going to compete for second. New Orleans is going to hold the division up, and then Tampa is going to continue to be king. I like it. I'm happy with it. I don't have any complaints at all. Let the two mediocre teams battle it out. Let our guys rest. For the teams that actually matter. And then let's go out there and win some ball games, boys. Hey, this season, let's go. Let's get after it. Who's to say Tampa can't win a Super Bowl this year? Not me. I believe it.
They
can't believe it.
No, I don't.
I'm not going to listen to you. But as always, Carlos, it's been a pleasure. It's been fun. Next week, we're going to be doing the AFC South. So that way, Carlos can talk about his Miami boy, Cam Ward, and how he thinks he's going to do in Tennessee. You want to talk about a weak division. That division ain't that fun either. What's up with the South?
It's not.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's like both NFC and AFC South are kind of like, maybe. And then both NFC and AFC North are like ridiculous. Like they're always uber competitive. So
I mean, look at this. Look at the cities you're in. You got Atlanta, good city. New Orleans, great city.
Fantastic.
Tampa, we got everything here.
Hell yeah.
And then you have, what's the other one? Who am I missing?
Carolina.
It's not a bad city. It's a nice
you
place.
Get 2 states. Look at you.
That's true.
And you still can't fill your stadium. It's unbelievable.
Oh, boy. But you look at the NFC North, the North teams, like, it's Baltimore. What are you going to do in Baltimore? You can't go outside. And like, you're taking chances there. So they got nothing to do sit inside and train. So, like, who's going out in Cincy anywhere? Nowhere. There's nothing to do up there.
Fair enough. Well, Carlos, next week we're going to be breaking down the AFC South. If you like this video, we appreciate you guys for rocking with us. We love the love for the last video, man. Do continue to do y'all's things. Leave those comments, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on all the social medias. Link is down there in the description. And until next Friday,